Hi everyone, I'm going to talk about growing asparagus. I think some people are sort of afraid to grow it for a few reasons. When they hear that it's a perennial and they think they're not going to have space or room for it. Two, I think sometimes it gets a sort of a rap that it doesn't like hot temperatures. I've even seen it shaded in the Central Valley before and it doesn't need to. So zone 9 grows just fine. They say that it grows in USDA's 3 through 8 hardiness zones, but I'm in zone 9, does just fine. It is a perennial, so you do want to get a spot for it where it could spread and grow, and each plant can live as long as 15 years, so just keep that in mind. It does really well in raised beds because it does like soil with a lot of compost and manure and loose soil. You don't want to grow it in really heavy, dense soil, so raised bed or even mounded up soil works. So March is a great time to plant. You find the crowns. So the crowns are basically just almost like dormant roots. The roots are rhizomes, underground stems, and they're full of all the energy that takes the plant, allows the plant to grow. So when you plant it, you want to dig down about 6 to 8 inches and spread the rhizomes out and then just bury it back up. I know you could read things saying, okay, as it sprouts up, start burying it up like you do potatoes. You could do that. Or if you're a lazy gardener like me, you could just plant it and then forget about it. Another thing that some people may not like is the fact that it's going to take a couple years to actually harvest. So because it is a perennial and you're eating the shoots, that's what you're eating is the shoots of it. You don't want to harvest the first year or even the second year completely, because all that energy so you can see right here, this is a shoot that's leafing out. This is going to photosynthesize, and photosynthesis is energy, and that energy is then going to go back into the roots, the storage units of the plant. That allows it to get bigger and bigger, and the following year put more shoots on, more shoots off. So if you were to harvest the first year, you're taking all of its energy away. So even the second year, you don't want to harvest everything. The idea is slowly gain traction after a few years. Harvest could go in from 6 to 10 weeks once the plants are really mature. And I just want to show you here is I sort of dug one up a little bit. You can see what the crown looks like. So when you buy the crowns, it's going to come with the tuberous sort of roots. And you can see the shoot here. It hasn't reached sun yet, so it's green. And that's actually how you get white asparagus, is they don't let the sun hit it and it doesn't get any chlorophyll. And so if you're really into white asparagus, if you just keep covering it, it's going to stay white. So you could just backfill that. And then you could see this is a few years old, and this is the thickness you want. If anything's smaller or thinner than a pencil, leave it. So I'm going to wait for this to get a little bit taller, and then I'll harvest it. You want a sharp knife, and you just want to cut a little bit below the soil. So I'm going to wait for these to get a little bit bigger and cut below the soil. This one here, this one I could have harvested. I didn't get to it. This one I will harvest. This one's a little thin, so I'm letting this go to vegetation growth, basically. And it's going to stay that way all summer. It's going to go into fall. It will probably get berries. Don't eat the berries. They're slightly toxic. And once the foliage dies down completely, and then I'll remove it, because all that energy then will go back into the plants, and then late winter, early spring, you'll have shoots coming up again, and you could just keep harvesting them until really all the shoots are too thin, or it's been several weeks and you need to let the plant go vegetative for next year's energy and growth. Full sun, I haven't watered yet, so even with a little bit of rains we've had, it's doing fine. When it starts leafing out, I'll just water it with the rest of my summer vegetables. Give it some nitrogen when it's in leaf form. Right now it doesn't need any nitrogen. It's using all the energy from the stored nutrients and energy. And really no pests. I know they can get some pests, but I haven't had any. And that's about it. So I think everyone should grow asparagus. You could find them online, the crowns online. You could start them by seeds, but it takes a lot longer than the crowns that you buy. And that's about it. It's pretty easy to grow. I think everyone should grow it. Thanks.